Hello, my wonderful, beautiful friends. Guys, welcome back to r/IDontWorkHereLady, where Karens refuse to believe customers when they say that they're not employees. And today, guys, oh boy, nothing is better than a rich, snobby, entitled Karen getting taught a lesson and getting arrested. I can tell you that much. I hope you enjoy the lineup of stories today. Hit subscribe if you haven't. And as always, you can send or link your stories to this email right here. Let's dive in. So, from when I was about 16 to 19 years old, I worked at a regional grocery store, doing almost everything. Carts, cashiering, clerk, produce, etc. The store's thing is, they don't carry a bunch of different brands. It's about 2 or 3 brands of each item, and for some of the bigger items, they just put them out on pallets instead of stocking shelves. This allows them to have significantly lower prices than other grocery stores. As such, the store tends to attract some pretty scummy people. Think the worst shoppers, no manners, entitled, all that good stuff. Anyways, the managers were pretty cool, and I formed a nice relationship with them. Additionally, one of my best friends worked there with me, and as I moved on from the job, he stayed there and worked up the ladder to assistant manager. I still do my grocery shopping there, and go in to pick up miscellaneous items as needed. Like I said, I had a good relationship with the managers, and my best friend is now an assistant manager, so I do feel quite relaxed there. Well, one day, I'm in the store picking up something I need. I was wearing gray sweatpants and a black hoodie. Employee dress code is black pants and a white shirt with a blue apron, so not sure how anyone could think I work there. But this woman who was next to me in the aisle thought I did, and she had made up her mind that I did in fact work there. I'll call her Janet since Karen's overused. The woman calls out, "Hey, you." Hearing that, I looked up from the product I was holding a little bit shocked and said, me? The woman says, "Well, duh. Who else would I be talking to? There's no more of this product on the shelf, so go see if there's more in the back." And yeah, she didn't ask if I could go check. She told me to go check. At that I say, hey, I actually don't work. She then interrupts me and says, "Look, I need this particular brand, so go check in the back for me." I tell her, "Ma'am, as I was saying, I actually don't work." She repeats herself and says, "Do I need to say this slower? Are you stupid, lazy, or both? Just go check the back for me before I get your manager." Now the woman said this in the most self-righteous, condescending tone that you can imagine. So I'm thinking, alright Janet, let's play this game. I tell her, "Okay, I'll go check. Just make sure you stay right here so I can find you after, okay?" Hearing that, Janet was so very satisfied with herself and in a snobby tone says, "Thank you." Now this is where my good relationship with the managers and my best friend being an assistant manager finally played out. With her watching, I walk into the back like I work there to look like I was gonna go find her product. Once out of her sight, I simply walked around to the second entrance to the back of the store, leaving her at the first entrance waiting for me. I then grabbed my item and went to check out, hoping she would stand there all day waiting. It was quite busy, so I wait in line for about 15 to 20 minutes, and as I'm about to be up, I see the woman storming to the front looking for a manager. Well, my best friend was working at the time. The woman runs up to him, furious that an employee had just deserted her, and she starts ranting about what happened. And of course, the woman sees me in line and she points at me while furiously talking at my friend. My friend remains completely calm and collected, having to deal with these kind of people on a regular basis. He lets her rant as long as she'll go. Once she finally stops to give my friend a chance to talk, I see him mouth to her that I actually don't work here, and the most amazing expression dawned on her face. It was a mix of anger, embarrassment, and shame as she realized that she just got played and made a scene. The woman quietly gets back in line and she didn't cause any more trouble. She did give me a death stare though, which I responded with a hearty chuckle. My friend and I still have a good laugh about it to this day. See guys, this is exactly what I would do if I was ever in an I don't work here situation like this. "Oh, you want me to go to the back to get this, Karen? Well, you go ahead and wait right here. Let me get this for you, and I'll be back never." So a little background. I rent a small office space that's connected to a much larger antique store. My business has no relationship with the larger store and has its own entrance from the front sidewalk. Due to the size of my space, I don't have my own break room or a restroom. I use the store's employee area. At the rear of my space, there is a door that opens into the hallway, leading to the employee area. The hallway is visible from the front desk checkout counter, and thus our story starts. So this happened last Tuesday. It was lunchtime and I opened the rear hallway door and was headed to the employee break room when I hear a woman ranting at the sales associate at the front desk. I can hear the Karen screaming at the woman saying, "I demand to speak with the manager now." To which the employee responds, "My manager's out at lunch right now and will be back in a few minutes." The Karen then sees me in the hallway and she points at me screaming, "You, get over here right now." To which I say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I don't work here, I rent the space next door." The woman tells me, "Shut up, you just don't want to deal with customers. Now get over here and do your damn job." Again I say to her, "I really don't work here, sorry." I then paused in the hallway to watch, as this was getting good. It was at this point the store manager returns and approached the Karen at the counter and says, "Ma'am, I can help you, I'm the store manager." The Karen looks her up and down and says, "I want a manager. Manager," making it a point to emphasize the word man. To which the manager says, "Ma'am, I can assure you I'm the store manager and I can help you." To which the Karen says, "That's a load of crap. I see your manager over there." The woman then points at me and she says, "I want him. I want a manager, a man that manages things." Again, the store manager tries to tell her, "Ma'am, I am the store manager. I'm the only one who can help you. If you continue to raise a disturbance, I will insist you leave." It was at this point that Karen throws her hands up in the air and she walks around the counter and stomps toward me in the hallway. She comes up to me and says, "I demand you help me." I tell her, "I've already told you that I don't work here. I rent the space next door. I'm just back here to use the break room." Now, what the woman said next still baffles me. She says, "Then why the hell are you wearing a suit? If you're not a manager, why are you dressed like one?" It was at this point I'm totally done, and I say, "Ma'am, I'm done with you. The store manager has offered to help you, and you're too dense to listen. Listen to my words carefully. I do not work here." So yeah, hearing that just set the Karen off more, and she proceeded to scream more obscenities and ranted as she storms out about how she was going to tell everybody she knew to never shop at the store again. After she was gone, I asked the store associate what this was all about. Apparently, the woman was interested in a dining room table that only had 6 matching chairs and she needed 8. The table was discontinued and the store associate was explaining that they didn't have any more, nor could they order them as they don't know if the manufacturer was still in business. She had the names of a couple of local carpenters who can make similar chairs, but they likely would not match. And this apparently was not an acceptable answer. So yeah guys, I'm starting to think that that woman didn't know the meaning of the word manager. Like, ma'am, I know the word man is in manager, but did you know that women can also be managers? Seriously guys, I was at the bank a few days ago, and this old man was losing his mind, throwing a tantrum over something. I have no idea what, but he was causing a huge scene and demanded to talk to the guy who was in charge. Like, the guy kept going on and saying, "Well, when is he in? When will he be back? When will he be able to help me since you guys are so useless?" And I'm telling you guys the story because I've been going to this bank for years and years, and the branch manager is a lovely woman named Stacy. I hope that man's head explodes. So some background. I worked in the casino business for 16 years. I started off working in the kitchens and worked my way up to being a casino host in 10 years. So I know all the ins and outs of the business. I worked there for a couple of more years, even finishing my college and getting the degrees I wanted. All helped paid for by the casino for my loyal service. So here's the scene. On this night, I'm out alone celebrating a promotion lined up for me at my new job that I've been working for the last 2 years. Now, I was on good terms with everyone when I left, and I said hello and caught up with a few of them, even getting free drinks from the service girls as a congratulations. Unfortunately, this means that my old patrons, players, and guests, you name it, also remember me. And one person in particular, the Karen, treats everyone like garbage. I've known and hosted her for years. She knows my face, and I know everything she likes and hates. Now, one thing about the woman is she's ridiculously wealthy. Like, seriously, tens of millions of dollars wealthy. She's also been banned on multiple occasions for harassing other players. Once, she threw one of those huge margaritas that you're supposed to share with 4 people off the balcony, and gave another player who had hit a concussion. Of course, unfortunately, the lady spent so much money at the casino that the worst thing that happened was she got banned for a year, and settled out of court with the other lady that she hit with a margarita. It does suck that she's one of the wealthier patrons of the casino, often spending hundreds of thousands of dollars minimum every year at the establishment. Anyways, she sees me having a drink at one of the bars and she decides to try to ruin my good time. So the Karen comes up to me and says, "Hey, why haven't I seen you in a while?" To which I respond, "Oh, hey, actually, I don't work here anymore. I'm just out having a few drinks. I figured I'd check out my old stomping grounds. How have you?" And before I could even ask how she's been, she rolls her eyes at me like I'm boring her to death. Nothing I haven't seen before. She interrupts me, and her face and attitude changes, like she's some high-class woman talking down to a peasant. Unfortunately, very normal for her. The woman says, Great, since you aren't doing anything, go cash out my chips, will you? Those effing idiots behind the counter won't pay me out since I'm over the cash out limit. And I left my license back upstairs in that crappy room they gave me. Now, I do want to note that I've never understood why people don't carry IDs on them in a casino. This is a problem that happens way too often, so people carry your ID at all times. Also, there's a certain threshold of money that cashiers are not allowed to cash out without proper ID. We try to make things easier, but some people live to make others' lives difficult, like Karen. I say to her, I would, but I don't work here anymore, and I don't want... Before I can finish my sentence, the woman interrupts and says, Listen, just shut the F up and do what I tell you. Or are you too stupid to follow simple instructions? Get it done, or I'll find out where you do work, and not only will I have you fired, but you'll be living in the gutter the rest of your life. Do you want to be homeless? Hearing the Karen say that, it takes everything I have not to snap. So I bite my tongue as I start to come up with how I'm gonna get back at this woman. I say to her, Okay, Karen, just give me everything you have and I'll take care of it. I say this as calmly as I can. Karen, slurring her words, says, Ugh, I so have you by the balls. And don't tip yourself. Rude idiots like you don't deserve a dime of my money. It was at this point the woman then dumps thousands of dollars worth of chips on the bar counter. The woman then leaves and I'm shaking in fury, until I can calm myself enough to go through with my plan and start gathering all the chips into a couple of racks that were nearby. The barkeep Chris asked if I'm okay, having seen the whole exchange. I then hand him 3 of the $100 chips, with a malicious smile on my face. I then say to him, it's gonna be a good night for the staff. I then went off handing chips to any casino employees I run across. I had to go to the cashiers to break up a couple of $1,000 chips and gave them $100 each. In less than 1 hour, I had given away nearly $10,000, and I just left. I then got a call from one of my old work buddies about the crap storm that Karen threw when she found out that I had given all of her money away. She ended up punching the executive host in the face and was arrested with an assault charge. And now she's perma-banned from the casino, and also blacklisted from several others. When she gave me her chips, it looked exactly like that on the cameras. It looked like she had just given me chips, and she didn't tell me where or when to meet her in order to get the money. And since I was another casino patron, that amounted to abandoned cash. Basically, if you're careless enough to leave behind, or in Karen's case, give away money, then that money doesn't belong to anyone, and it's finders keepers at that point. Even if I stayed and got questioned, the worst they could do was to ask me to give the money back. And if I refused, it would be a 3-day ban and an immediate escort out of the casino. I know $10,000 is a drop in the bucket to Karen, but the blow to her ego is worth so much more. Yeah, for sure, guys. Like a person with tens of millions of dollars, the 10 grand that Karen lost that night is pretty much equivalent to the average person giving away $5, if that, right? And I love the fact that OP could have easily kept that abandoned cash, but instead decided to play Oprah that night and gave it all away. My friends, let me know what you would have done if someone just handed you $10,000 worth of chips at the casino, no strings attached. Alright, so I'm a 52-year-old man that works as a butcher at a pork processing plant, and I've never encountered a Karen in my hometown. So here's some background. I live in a town of about 20,000 people in southeast Iowa. I've lived here my entire life, minus 6 years that I spent in the military, and serving in Operation Desert Storm. So the other day, I was at a neighborhood grocery store, and I was buying a couple of loaves of bread, as I had run out. Now, at the store, their work uniform is a red polo shirt, with the company name on the left breast area. They also wore khakis or black pants and different colored aprons. I couldn't have been in the aisle for more than 10 seconds when I feel a pair of eyes on my shoulder. I turn with a start, causing the woman directly behind me to give me a frown. I'll call her Karen. I say to the woman, you know, you shouldn't stand behind people like that. You don't know how they'll react. The Karen ignores me and says, I need your help. Now, stupid me did not register the way she said that, which should have set off the alarm bells. I should also add that I'm usually very level-headed. I mean, I've done enough violence in my life, and I would give anything if I could just live in peace. This day, I just couldn't be bothered. I say to her, if you want help, you should ask one of the employees. To which Karen says, I am. The realization suddenly hits me like a tank that she's talking to me. I tell her, "Ma'am, I don't work here." Now, I was wearing a black t-shirt, black cargo pants, black socks, and black sneakers. There was nothing about how I dressed that said I worked here. However, Karen must have been blind as well as deaf, because she said, "Don't act stupid. You work here." By this time, I can feel me starting to lose control. This insufferable oaf was wearing my patience thin, and I say to her, "What about my clothes says I work here?" To which Karen responds, "You are wearing a uniform. I need you to help me now." The woman screaming got me, and I'm thinking, oh, bad move, Karen. Now, I'm about a 6'1" guy, and I weigh 210 pounds. I'm not small by any means, and my voice is fairly deep, meaning when my volume goes up, I can get very intimidating. And at this point, manners have gone out the window. I had had enough. So I say to her, "What the F part of I don't work here do you not understand? You irritating pencil neck." After I said that, Karen loses the surprised look on her face and she balls up her fist, shaking with rage. And she gives me an "I'm gonna kick your ass" look. And that's when I say to her, "Hey, fair warning, if you swing on me like a man, you'd better be prepared to take a punch like a man." Karen then relaxes her hands. She then out of nowhere slaps me across the face, knocking my glasses off, calling me rude. Apparently, Karen must have thought that I wouldn't do anything. However, today, she tangled with the wrong guy. And I gave her a slap right across her face and said, "I warned you." But Karen then decides to play her trump card. She screams, "I'm gonna have you arrested. How dare you slap me?" I then smiled wide, pointed to the security cameras in the ceiling, and said, "Have a nice day." I then grabbed my bread, walked up to the front to pay, while Karen marches off to find a manager. I found out the next day that the grocery store decided to suspend her from the establishment for 30 days. It sucks to be her. Oh my goodness gracious. Talk about messing with the wrong person that day, Karen. And guys, I'm not applauding OP for what he did, okay? But I will say that people should keep their hands to themselves. Like, I've read so many stories where Karens just go around slapping random strangers and act like there's no repercussions, and I really hope she learned her lesson this day. And guys, a lot of people are giving OP grief for this, for slapping the woman and acting overly tough. So guys, let me know, in this situation, did the Karen get what she deserved? I've worked in retail and customer service positions my whole life, and frequently get mistaken for an employee when I'm not. Now, I have gotten used to it, and for the most part, I do understand it. Oftentimes, it happens when I'm running errands after work in black uniform slacks and the basic shirts I wear underneath my work button-downs. I also carry around a large keyring of jingly keys, so I can't really blame people under those circumstances. Anyways, here's my most recent interaction for your enjoyment. On this day, I was shopping at a large chain pharmacy on an unusual mission to spend a $400 health benefit card that was about to expire. It only worked on certain items, so I was having to spend a decent amount of time finding things that qualified, that my household could actually use. That's when out of the corner of my eye, I occasionally kept spotting the same little old lady. Over and over, I was catching glances of her peering down the aisles at me. I assumed because of my outfit that day. It was my day off, and I was wearing my punk rock street clothing. I'm used to stares and glares, even though my style has toned down with age. I paid the woman no mind and kept shopping. About 45 minutes into my mission, my cart was nearly full, and I was focused on reading the fine print ingredients on some product. And all of a sudden, I hear someone's throat clear. I look up and see the little lady. She looks me up and down several times. I have my hair in a messy rat's nest ponytail on top of my head, black and white striped jeans, Doc Martens, and a black t-shirt with the words "Touched by Satan" in large print, with an image of Satan touching someone on the shoulder, with a speech bubble saying, "Tag, you're it," causing them to burst into flames. It was at this point I push my glasses back up my nose and look at her. The woman stares at my shirt. I stare back at her, and she adjusts her glasses, clears her throat again, and raises her eyes to meet mine. We make prolonged, awkward eye contact. I'm silent, internally flinching, expecting to get backlash about my shirt, when the woman finally says, "Do you work here?" At that, I was completely dumbfounded. I tell her, no, I don't. The woman then says, "Oh, Yeah, I thought you worked here since you have a cart filled with so much. You know what, I was just hoping for some help finding laundry detergent. I'm sorry. The woman then pursed her lips and looked puzzled and embarrassed, and I tell her, oh, well, I don't work here, but I do shop here often, so I know where it is. Follow me and I'll show you. The woman made a sound like she was gonna protest, but I strode off with confidence to lead her to the detergent, and she followed. I then point out the detergent section once we were in eyeshot, and after she spotted it, she smiled warmly back at me and said, "Thank you, sweetie. You have a good day." I wished her the same and went back to finish my shopping. After 15 years of getting grief over my clothing choices, this confusing interaction warmed my heart. Hopefully it warms 1 or 2 hearts out there on Reddit. Thanks for reading. Okay, first of all, I just want to say that OP's shirt sounds friggin' awesome. Satan touching someone, saying tag you're it, and having them burst into flames sounds pretty epic. And secondly, I love how that woman realizes that OP's not an employee. Like, why can't more people be like this woman? But if more people were like her, we wouldn't have these awesome stories, now would we? And that, my friends, brings us to another end of our /IDontWorkHereLady. Guys, I hope you enjoyed today's wonderful stories. I hope you had a few good laughs. And if you guys missed the last episode on the channel, I will link it right here. It's an r/petty revenge, which I haven't done in a while, and a peeping Karen gets taught a lesson that she'll never forget. Guys, it's such a funny story, so go check it out if you haven't, and myself and Stevie Boy will see you guys in the next one. We love you.